Let's talk about ScarJo. So apparently, a story came out yesterday on a couple of websites, but where I first saw it was Nexus Point News. But apparently, according to other people, Jeff Snyder, because I got some stuff from him too, some scoops and stuff that I heard from him earlier when I was watching his show with John Roca, and I'm gonna bring that here if y'all didn't see it. He said Giant Freaking Robot had the scoop first, so maybe they posted it first. Maybe the fact that Nexus Point News had it or something, like, who knows? But apparently, um, Nexus Point News is not necessarily on the same level as say a Variety, Deadline, all the other stuff, which is fine because there are other conglomerates that can get scoops long before actually before the major trades have to get permission from the studios to release certain information. So I don't sit and thumb my nose down at smaller conglomerates because I consider myself, well, I am at this point right now a small conglomerate. So I wouldn't want people to discredit me just because I'm not on the same level as these other trades, which are cucked, if you really think about it, to these major studios. So yeah, Nexus Point News had the that's where I got it from. Excuse me. So we'll just actually use their article for the source of information. So, pre-production on the highly anticipated sequel to the Batman finally ramps up with the first bit of casting news. Now, on according to reports, because now the major trades are reporting it, ScarJo is in talks to join the Batman Part 2. Details on who Johansson will potentially portray are being kept under wraps, but the role may be a new love interest to Bruce Wayne. There is a story in the world of the Batman where Bruce dates a socialite who happens to be a part of the Court of Owls. I'm wondering if that's the character that she might be playing because as long as I've been talking about the Batman, one of the storylines that I'm really hoping that they tackle is the Court of Owls. I want that so bad because it kind of fits in within what's going on in our current climate. And you already know, like, art always imitates life and vice versa and all that other stuff. So why not go into that? And especially with Matt Reeves grounding his Batman universe, I could definitely see them going in that direction. I heard people say Poison Ivy. I'm like, I don't know, how do you make Poison Ivy even work in a Matt Reeves world? That would work in James Gunn's world because he does all the supernatural stuff. But how would you make that character work in Matt Reeves's universe? I just can't see that happening. So now, like the first one, Matt Reeves returns to direct with a script co-written by him and Mattson Tomlin, who is behind such films as Project Power and Terminator Zero. Terminator Zero, that was a TV show on Netflix. I like that. Project Power, I think, was also on Netflix. Isn't that the movie with Jimmy Fox? I'm not mistaken. But anyway, so they said Reeves will produce through his Sixth and Idaho production company alongside producing partner Lynn Harris. Dylan Clark, who produced the first film, will produce the sequel as well, with the film now being under DC Studio, co-heads, blah, blah, blah. So, okay, we don't need all the information about um, James Gunn and all that. So we already know that. Now, confirmed cast returning for the sequel are Robert Pattinson, Jeffrey Wright, Andy Serkis, and Colin Farrell as Bruce Wayne. Um, slash Batman, Jim Gordon, Alfred Pennyworth, and Oswald Oz Cobb slash the Penguin, you know, um, respectively. Now, from what I'm hearing, also Zoe Kravitz is not expected to return as Selena Kyle slash Catwoman. So I would have liked to have seen her return. It would have been shady if y'all would have taken her out and brought in ScarJo to play Catwoman because she's curvy and she exudes that sexiness about her. But I don't see her playing that. I did also heard people say Vicky Vale. The last time we saw Vicky Vale was in the first Batman movie with Michael Keaton. Kim Basinger played her. Character was kind of like a throwaway, if you ask me. Yeah, she looked good on camera. Yes, I love me some Kim Basinger back in the day. However, her run around, skinny Batman and screaming and all that stuff, that's literally what her role was in that whole damn movie. Just being his love interest and being a damsel in distress. So I can't see Scarlett Johansson taking a pay cut to play this part, but getting money on the back end because that's the story that Jeff Snyder revealed today. Um, I can't see her doing all of that to play some damn Vicky Vale. Also, what I was hearing that he had mentioned was that she wasn't the initial choice. originally Emma Stone was up for a role in the Batman, but because they're saying that she's, I don't want to call her a diva, whatever, but she wanted her full fee, her 20 million a picture. It's like, man, we like you in certain things, but going your, I mean, just came out, it didn't do all that well financially. So I don't think you're in a position to be asking for like 20 minutes. Like, this is not Julia Roberts in that movie. What is it called? After the Hunt or whatever. This is not Julia Roberts in that movie where it's like, oh, we just still gonna pay you your regular $20 million fee, and then of course we're not gonna recoup the money. But I guess Netflix and them don't care; they got money to burn, so they're not really thinking about the financial repercussions the way Tim Serranos is running that company over there. So I don't, I can't see. So she passed on that part, and then they went to, well, I guess once ScarJo heard that she had turned down the part, she sent her people to kind of fight for her to get the role. Similar to how Austin Butler allegedly fought, went around studio circle. I mean, behind the studio's back. I don't. I don't think. I'm gonna rephrase that because it's like you say, oh, he went sneakily behind the back. He thought he would be a better fit to be in the new Miami Vice movie than Glenn Powell. So he had his people, I guess he went up and schmoozed Michael B. Jordan a bit so that way he could show like we would be a better team together than you and Glenn Powell, which I actually agree with because when you look at Austin Butler, the way he carries himself, the way he dresses, I could definitely see Michael Douglas, um, oh my God, Don Johnson. I'm like, where did Michael Douglas come? I definitely see Don Johnson isms in the way he carries himself and how he dress. Like, I could definitely see 80s in him, like he lived a previous life or something or another. So he definitely could fit that part. So I think he'd be better than Glenn Powell. And I like Glenn Powell, but that last movie he didn't do all that well financially. And neither did Austin Butler's Caught Stealing. But I could definitely see Austin needs to jump into action. Sidebar: Caught Stealing is on Netflix if y'all haven't seen it. I didn't even know it was up there until I looked yesterday. I happened to be scrolling and said, I'm like, so Netflix, y'all piss me off the way y'all don't promote y'all stuff. But anyway, y'all just throw things up there. So besides all, oh, and another thing, from what I was saying, because there's another thing we got to think about. I don't know if we did. I don't think we talked about it on this show. But ScarJo also signed up to star in the new Mike Flanagan Exorcist movie. With that happening, people are wondering how they're going to be able to make the schedule work out because they does overlap. So in a way, they found a way to make it work. I just realized I didn't put the comments and stuff on. Let me do that. um, how they gonna make it work? I guess they found a way to make it work. And another thing too, they said that ScarJo was not even the first choice to go for the role in The Exorcist. What the scoop was that he said Angelina Jolie was the initial choice. They were courting her to be in this Exorcist reboot. Been a good choice. I would like to have seen Angelina do horror. Has she ever done horror? I don't think Angelina's ever done a horror movie. I know she's done like thrillers and things, but never like a full-fledged scary supernatural horror film. At least I can't think of one off the top of my head. But she passed, and so then ScarJo got that part. Look, I don't mind people going around getting other people leftovers. It happens all the time. It's just whoever's right for the part. Speaking of which, I'm talking this whole damn time and I ain't even put the picture up. Anyway, so with all that being said, now we can get into the possibility of like, okay, so who could she possibly be playing? So, a couple of the names they have: Poison Ivy, who debuted in Batman issue 181 in 1966, and was created by Robert Kanigher, Carmine Infantino, and Sheldon Moldoff. Ivy is a former botanist turned superpowered eco-terrorist. Over the years, she's been portrayed by a variety of actresses in several forms of media. Well, the only one that I can think of that played her was Uma Thurman, because that's the only one I think that I've seen play her on the big screen. But like I said, if she's a botanist turned superpower terrorist, I guess she could probably find a way to use plants and like a bioengineering. She could be like a bioengineer type of terrorist or something. No, they could have figured out how to make that work in a lore without actually having her have superpowers. They could change up the lore in a way, I guess, to make it grounded in reality. I don't know how they would do that, but they'd have to figure that part out. But I don't think that's who she's playing. They also mentioned Vicky Vale, who debuted in Batman issue 49 in 1948 and was created by Bill Finger, Bob Kane, and Lou Schwartz. Vicky is a reporter for the Gotham Gazette and an occasional love interest to Bruce. Vale has been portrayed by Jane Addams and Kim Basinger in Batman and Robin 1949 and Batman 1989, respectively. Yeah, I don't think she's playing her because I don't think they would just ScarJo would just want to be reduced to some reporter that's trying to get scoop from Batman, and then occasionally y'all see them in the bed together trading, information. I don't see that as possibly happening. Then they brought up Julie Madison, who debuted in Detective Comics issue 31 in 1939. It was created by Gardner Fox, Bob Kane, and Sheldon Moldoff. Madison is often depicted as a socialite actress. This is who I've been talking about. Basically, is that I think that that's who she might be playing. The one that makes it sound more reasonable, I could definitely see her playing Julie Madison, or she could be playing Phantasm. So I'm thinking that it could be either one of those two. So Julie Madison, as they said, like she was depicted as a socialite actress and is known for being Bruce's love interest in the comics. And she was portrayed by Elle Macpherson in Batman and Robin. But Julie Madison, I do believe, was the person I was talking about that was a part of the Court of Owls. So hopefully that's the direction that they're going into. I actually think that it's a great idea that they have a name as big as Scarlett Johansson appearing in a Batman movie. I do think that's a good look on her. And it's cool to see, like, after everything that she went through in the MCU and how they did her dirty with Black Widow, the whole theatrical situation and day and date with the streaming and that pistol, because she was like, that wasn't part of my deal. And David, who was it? Bob Chapek was being messy behind the scenes, and she took their ass to court and got her money. So it could be like no hard feelings, but at the same time, I'm gonna jump ship from the MCU to the DCU. It also kind of makes me wonder: is she gonna appear in Avengers Doomsday? Because I know with Chairgate, sorry, we had all those characters released, but I'm sure there's people that they didn't mention. But I'd be like, at this point, if she did, leave her dead and then let her go off and do this other role. But I'm hoping we find out soon who she's playing, but I'm sure it'll probably be in a couple of weeks because pre-production begins in January. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Are you excited to hear the news that Scarlett Johansson is set to appear in the upcoming The Batman sequel? Excited for two things. I'm excited for the Batman. Well, I love the Batman. Truth be told, I like the Batman more than I liked James Gunn's Superman, because I feel like I fit more into that, the tone, the vibe, everything else. Batman's like one of my favorite characters. Superman's no shade. Superman's kind of boring to me. So I actually prefer Batman. I like Robert Pattinson, or as I like to call him, Battinson's iteration of Batman. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they bring with the sequel. I love with Matt Reeves. I love that whole world that he created. I also love the Penguin. So that was like one of my favorite shows. So I'm definitely looking forward to this new movie. Fortunately, we got to wait till 2027 to see it in October. But nevertheless, time hopefully will fly by enough that I just won't be worried or too upset that I'm not going to get to see it immediately. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below.